This is a CBS2 News update. I'm Dick Brennan. The woman who triggered a 3-hour standoff yesterday by climbing up the Statue of Liberty is due in court this afternoon. The National Park Service says she used a ledge above a doorway on the observation deck to hoist herself up. Meantime, trips to and from the statue have resumed. Here's CBS2's Marina Roy.
All eyes on this protester as she spent nearly 3 hours at Lady Liberty's robe, waving below, swinging her legs, and at one point taking her shoes off, trying to climb even higher up the statue.
We were about to load the ship, and I was like, is that a person hanging from the statue?
Tourists couldn't believe it when they first noticed Therese Cuomo high up above around 3 p.m. yesterday.
So my husband pointed out to the ranger, and all of a sudden he grabbed his radio and started calling, and all of a sudden there was just police running. Liberty
Island evacuated as cops spent hours convincing her to come down, facing obstacles along the way.
The angles that we had to go on, it was difficult to basically stand. There was nothing for us to grab.
A dangerous endeavor 100 feet off the ground, made even tougher as 2 emergency service unit officers tried to reason with the climber.
In the beginning, she basically threatened, to push us off, push the ladder off.
After a lot of strategic negotiation, they cornered her around 6:30, using safety lines to pull her down and handcuff her. Cuomo told police she was protesting the separation of immigrant children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border. Officials say earlier she was with a group called Rise and Resist. 7 were arrested for hanging a banner, but they say this woman broke away from them soon after and climbed up on her own without telling anyone.
There was definitely some people that was upset that it's ruining their 4th of July, but for me, it's definitely just the safety of the person that's out there.
Today, it just makes me really thankful for all the policemen and firemen who were at the scene really quickly.
And that climber is facing several misdemeanor charges, including federal trespassing and disorderly conduct. In Lower Manhattan, Rena Roy, CBS 2 News.
Things happening today, a pretrial hearing for one of the 2 men accused of running a marijuana grow house that led to a fatal explosion in 2016. Julio Salcedo, he's charged with 2nd-degree manslaughter. Prosecutors say he and Garibaldi Castillo tampered with gas lines at a house in the Kingsbridge section of the Bronx. Firefighters responded to the house after reports of a gas leak, but the explosion killed FDNY Deputy Chief Michael Fahey. It's been 1 year since an NYPD detective, a real hero, was ambushed and killed while she was on the job. And this morning, a new effort to remember her. Commissioner O'Neill and Mayor de Blasio will rename a Bronx street for Detective Miosota's Familia. She was also remembered in a mass this morning, as well as a midnight ceremony in the Bronx. CBS 2's Natalie Dudridge has more from Fordham Heights.
A moment of silence observed by dozens of officers at the 46th Precinct Station House just after midnight, the exact time NYPD Detective Miosota's Familia was murdered 1 year ago as she was doing her job.
New Yorkers go through the day today. You can just think about the sacrifice that she made.
Familia was in an NYPD vehicle on East 183rd Street in the Bronx when ex-con Alexander Bonds stormed up to her and shot her in the head. Bonds was killed by responding officers. Residents say they'll never forget her sacrifice.
It tore me apart. That's very sad because the kids is left without a mom.
Familia's eldest daughter, Genesis, now 21 years old, is caring for her younger siblings, teenage twins Peter and Delilah.
This tragedy is sad, not only in my family, but not only in my blood family, but also in my blue family.
We were with the children when they moved into a donated condo in Riverdale this past Christmas.
We can at least enjoy the sort of lifestyle that my mom really wanted us to have.
We also watched Familia's children as they met with President Trump in May at a peace officers memorial service outside the U.S. Capitol.
She loved being a police officer.
They deserve the public support. That shows that people cares.
She certainly deserves the honor. A street outside the 46th Precinct House will also be renamed to honor Familia, another chance to remember her and her wonderful service and sacrifice. Well, there are new developments in the gang murder of a Bronx teenager last month. Police released surveillance images of another suspect they're looking for. Also, 2 cars believed involved in the crime, a white Acura and a black Acura. Yesterday, 2 accused gang members, Diego Suera and Gabriel Ramirez Concepcion, were in court and pleaded not guilty. Police sources say Suero is the local leader of the Trinitarios gang. He's accused of ordering the murder of 15-year-old Lissandro Jr. Guzman Feliz in what police say was a case of mistaken identity. Two mothers are now facing child endangerment charges. They're accused of leaving their kids in a hot car while they went on a shopping spree. Police say Arlene Kia and her friend Shade Williams left their 4 children in a car last Saturday outside a Marshall store in East Hanover, New Jersey. The kids, ages 5, 6, 7, and 11 months, were reportedly in the car for more than an hour in the 90-degree heat. The women, both 27, are charged with shoplifting, cruelty, and neglect. Well, cooling centers are open today to help New Yorkers beat the heat, and there's plenty of that. Now, air-conditioned facilities are located at libraries, senior centers, community centers, and night shift facilities open to the public during heat emergencies. For the nearest cooling center, pick up the phone, call 311, they'll tell you, or you can visit nyc.gov/ wait for it, beat the heat. And here's John Elliott. He's going to tell us how to beat the heat. I don't know if there's a way to do that. Is there, John?
You know, in a day or so, we're going to break the heat. But you're right. It's the heat and humidity. Those real feel numbers in the mid-90s again today. 11 o'clock observation out of the park. It's warm enough. 82 and very humid. Numbers around the area between 80 and 86 right now. Dew points in the low 70s. These soupy dew points. So 88 the high will feel warmer. It's not a record, but it is going to feel like the 90s. Sun sets at 8:30 and hazy sun to see. I want to give you just a real quick snapshot. Notice you see a little green on the screen there. Well, we're going to leave the chance of a few more pop-up storms in the forecast. We're seeing more well to the west. Now, farther to the west, there's an actual front that's pushing through. So what happens is a pop-up storm north and west today, 88. Definitely a busier day overall on Friday. Friday, that's when we see a line of showers with embedded thunderstorms. Could see some flooding rains, gusty winds. That's going to be a busier day with these soaking storms. And then we see that cooler, more comfortable air Saturday into Sunday, lower dew points, lots of sun, and the low 80s. I mean, you may know him as Dick Brennan, but we like to call him the Edie Gourmet of costume changes. I don't know what you were doing over there, Dick.
Well, John,
but it's your workout because you look great.
It's unbelievable. It actually would have been the most entertaining thing because you see, I got this wire. It goes in the ear.
Yes,
okay, and then there's this box that the wire goes into.
Yeah. It was like there was 18 people over there.
There you go.
It's like you were trying to land a Cessna at LaGuardia. What was going on?
It was quite the show, I must admit.
It worked out okay for you.
Well, it actually didn't because I can tell the guys right now it's still.
It doesn't work.
But don't worry, I can still talk to you guys. It'll all work if I just look straight ahead and talk to you. Thank you, John. Little behind-the-scenes stuff there for you. Anyway, let's see. 2 first responders from New York sprang into action to save a little girl from nearly drowning in a Daytona Beach pool. Now, a New York State firefighter and her boyfriend, a New York State trooper, that's a good team, right? A firefighter and a trooper heard a mother screaming Tuesday. Her 3-year-old daughter, who can't swim, somehow wound up in the deep end of the pool and was face down. The firefighter jumped in, handed the unresponsive child to her boyfriend, and got out and did what she's trained to do, save lives.
I was able to get some water out of her, clear her. She was starting to breathe. I could hear her making noises.
An ambulance rushed the toddler to the hospital. Her grandmother went to find her heroes to thank them and tell them she was doing well. Now, that's a nice story to hear. All right, there's a problem. It's arising for regional airlines. Pilots are running for the exits. Carriers are being hurt by pilot retirements. Plus, many are chasing growth at bigger carriers, so they're just quitting. And at the current pace, there could be a shortage of 14,000 pilots by 2026. CBS's Chris Van Cleve spoke to the head of the regional carrier Piedmont about the problem.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where is the pilot shortage today?
I think it's at least a 6. The pipeline for young aviators is drying up, and it should be a national concern.
Now, adding insult to injury, the cost of learning to fly has nearly tripled, and training requirements have increased. Amazon, you heard of them, right? Amazon is taking a page from some conventional retailers. For the first time ever, the online retail giant will print a holiday toy catalog. Remember the Sears catalog? Now it's going to be the Amazon catalog, okay? The toy guide will be mailed to millions of households in the U.S. and distributed at Whole Foods markets. The holiday catalog appears to be part of Amazon's strategy to take over business previously dominated by the now defunct Toys R Us. Millions gathered along the East River maybe you're one of them, to celebrate America's independence with an incredible fireworks show. Check it out. Now listen to these numbers. Not that they may not matter to you, but there were 7 barges, 75,000 shells, because somebody counts them apparently, and they all lit up the sky last night, perfectly synchronized to the rhythm of, you know, those great patriotic songs, the John Philip Sousa. We all love them. It's the largest 4th of July fireworks show in the nation, and the best, and those who came to watch were, of course, not disappointed.
I usually come every year, sometimes in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, sometimes in Long Island City, and I definitely enjoyed it. It was spectacular.
We come from Italy. It was incredible.
What did you think of the fireworks? Good.
And the great men and women of the NYPD, they were on hand to make sure everyone was safe while they enjoyed the show. About 6,000 officers were assigned to watch over this celebration, and they certainly did a good job. Well, that's your CBS 2 News update. I'm going to go fix this, okay? Join us in just a moment for a live Facebook after show.